Yes, indeed, folks. Another Thursday, another Dynamite review. The road to Dynasty heating up. We had some big pro wrestling action last night on Dynamite. Much to get into. We hope everyone is well. As always, the thumbs up, the subscribe, the super chat. But first, expert panel. We have the big trio back, the big three, right? We have them back. Chuck, you were here last week also. I was with you last night on the Dynamite watch along, which was quite an experience. Watching that show on mute was hilarious. Yes. But we have revisited. We've got our rewatch here. We're ready to go. How are you tonight, Chuck?
I'm doing good. I've been quite busy today, so I've only rewatched parts of Dynamite. Usually I rewatch the show in full, but I've rewatched the key matches and none of the segments, but the matches are the important part. But I'm ready to go.
You didn't tap back in with that for that Jericho Hook segment?
You know, it kind of went under the radar. I enjoyed it so much the first time. I didn't want to kill the magic of that, you know?
So, sometimes you just have to leave the memories alone.
It's true, yeah. And you've done the watch-alongs with Charlie. Like, she's always taking notes. It's a real... There's a calculator there, you know. Like, it's a process. You don't have to rewatch everything. You're a real pro. I get it completely. Speaking of pros... Last week, we were without you. We battled on valiantly. We had some great replays. We had to replace with two co-hosts, of course. Both were wonderful. We had a great time last week, but I'm glad to reunite the Thursday three here once again. Ayo, how are you tonight, mate?
I'm very glad that you guys realized that not one man and or woman, it is 2024, could fill my shoes. So, you just have to go out there. You got two people. They did a great job. Shout out Marcus, shout out John. I'm glad to be back. Glad my schedule cleared up a little bit more. I was busy. Like, I wanted to rewatch the main event before we got on the podcast. I didn't have an opportunity to do that, but I was able to make the review. Big Three's back.
Absolutely, and it's a show that I think we're all pretty high on. Right? I don't want to speak for you guys. I know, Charlie, we were talking about it a little bit last night, but lots to like about this show. A more in-ring heavy show, I think it's fair to say, which honestly is not a case of the other weeks being less that way. This one was just, that was the highlight, right? Was the matches, even the matches in between. I think there's a lot to talk about there. So with that in mind, folks, we'll get right into the action. But first, I'll remind you once again, we are responding to super chats throughout the night. If you have any question, any comment on Dynamite, or you just want to support Charlie and I's adventure to York Hall for the Revolution Rumble. Yes. Any of those things, you can super chat throughout the evening. All right, let's get into it. We started with a match, which has been, the last couple of weeks have been Mercedes, right? So this is back to in the ring, and one match to start a wrestling TV show with. Will Osprey and Katsuyori Shibata here kicking it off on TBS. And there was definitely, this is a surreal match to see on TV in general. In a weird way, the crowd not quite realizing how big a deal this was made it feel even more surreal. It was like it was like a secret that some of us were in on it. It felt like in a strange way. But I thought they had a hell of a match. And once again, Shibata here, I think we're seeing him slowly become very much, he's edging towards a more familiar version of himself. I think it's fair to say. He may never quite be that guy again, but he's looked closer in this last couple of weeks than he has since he returned, I think. So, very strong match to kick off Dynamite. AO, what did you make of it, mate?
I love that match. Like you said, with the other Shibata matches, obviously the Danielson one was really great, but and the Willie, I don't want to shit on like the Willie Yuta and the Daniel Garcia matches because they were good wrestling matches, but they felt like it wasn't like the Katsuyori Shibata that we all loved. It was just we was happy to have him back. Like he shouldn't even be wrestling right now. Like the fact that we're just even seeing him out there was a part of the charm as opposed to the quality of the wrestler itself. Because that was more like if we're being honest, I was like, those were like C+ performances, but it's just like a living legend. So you give him grace like we do a lot in professional wrestling. But he looked like a fucking demon out there last night, bro. Like he had extra explosiveness in his steps, bro. His kicks and his strikes were looking crisp. Those forearms look deadly, bro. I love that fucking match, and I love how they built off their first encounter where Billy tried to go blow for blow with him in the strike sequences, and didn't really work out in his favor a lot of the times or at all in their first match. And last night didn't work out in his favor every time either. But they made sure to show that he's a bigger, stronger, more well-established wrestler. And after that, like Billy's talked about that first match a lot, and he said that like he tried to when he was going through it with Shibata, like beforehand, he was like, all right, so I was thinking this and this. I want to see if you would be willing to take this, and Shibata was just like, no, absolutely not. Like he refused to take any of this offense, and I was wondering if like he was going to be if it was going to be like that last night. And obviously they didn't like wrestle the stereotypical Will Osprey match where he's like draping him on the rope and hitting a fucking shooter and shit and like giving him a sky twister and shit. But like he did take a lot more than I thought he would. Some of those dives, I was like, fingers crossed, I hope you're okay. But this is fucking awesome. Yeah. So I love that match, bro. I love the match.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was some, I think the way they told the story of, you mentioned that kind of stylistic clash, and Osprey's success generally seemed to come when he would like increase the pace, right, and inject some speed in the match. And I think they laid some groundwork for the Dragon match for that too, because I think Brian's going to be grappling Will at Dynasty, right? I think he's going to be trying to pull him to the mat the way Shibata was here. So there was some nice kind of storytelling at play throughout. Chuck, what did you make of the opener?
I don't have much more to add because I kind of just hit it all on the nail. Like it was just a really great match, and I'm glad they've gone back to the starting Dynamite with a match, because of like it got a little bit like out of character for them, because if they were doing promos like every week for like 5 weeks straight, and it's like that's not like the Dynamite format. And obviously it's good to change it up sometimes, but sometimes you gotta just throw the graps out there. And Osprey and Shibata was a great match to do that with this week. And man, Osprey's presence on these shows has been absolutely insane. And then you put him in a ring with someone like Shibata, who everyone just, even people that don't really like know his full story, they just respect him because he just has this aura about him. So I don't know, I love this match, and the presentation of Will Ospreay in AEW so far has been absolutely insane to me. Like I never quite thought that this is what we would be getting from him, so I'm really happy for him, to be honest.
Yeah, I was very much expecting him to increase the kind of weekly in-ring, right? But like, I think we've seen that with his first couple of TV matches, but I agree with you completely. I didn't quite foresee the kind of presence and star power that he's projecting, at least. One thing I will say, and this is not a new take, I felt this way from, but this match I thought captured it perfectly. The hidden blade that he pins guys with is awesome looking, but is not nearly as cool looking as the standing hidden blade that he never pins anyone with. And I feel like if we flip those, I get the psychology, right? It's like when the guy's on their knee, it's almost like a kill shot. It's like the end.
Yeah.
But how great does it look when he catches it in transition and they're both on their feet and he just sprints at a dude? I mean, I think last night was like the best example yet in that regard. It looks killer when they're on their feet to me. So that's a small thing that's like, it doesn't make any difference on the quality of his matches. I just think it would add more excitement to his finishes, right? Because it's like the out of nowhere deal. But other than that, I mean, I agree completely in terms of the praise of the match. And I think it's interesting. What do we think, like, what does Shibata's long-term AEW role look like? What do you reckon? Because I think, as we just laid out, it's worth reassessing based on the fact that he looks sharper and sharper. What do we think he can kind of do long-term, quote unquote? What do you reckon?
I think in the short to medium term, he's going to be a guy that you put out there. Like the match graphics are awesome. He goes out there, has really fun matches, but he's probably going to lose. Like he's just going to be the legend that goes out there and puts the younger guy over. If he can prove that he can stay healthy for the longer term, maybe he gets a TNT title run, maybe he gets an international title run. Like, there's like I never thought when we signed, like I don't fucking work for AEW. When AEW signed Christian Cage, that he would be the first person to pin Kenny Omega in like 2 years, and then he'd go and have one of the best TNT title runs in the company. So never say never, bro. Like these guys, like a legend like that gets hot, you give them the ball, see what they can do with it. So, but right now I'm thinking he's like the match graphic guy, good matches, takes the pin.
And I agree, and I think we're all fine with that, right? It got me thinking about watching him in this last couple showings, because it's like, it goes without saying, I mean, there is an incredibly compelling story to tell there with him kind of reclaiming glory and, God forbid I say, finishing stories and so on and so forth. But, I mean, it's like when you see him look this good, you kind of do wonder about those things, Chuck, right? I think there's like this is one of those things I think we may see evolve if he continues to wrestle at this level.
I do agree. I think that his story, and this might just be an us thing because we've talked about this a lot, but I feel like Shibata's story and Kyle O'Reilly's stories are kind of on a collision course right now, and they're both like, Shibata's going to keep getting these losses from like these high level guys. Kyle's going to be on this winning streak, and they're going to crash paths. Like, they've already shown them together in that exclusive. So I think that could be the story that they tell. And I think that's quite interesting because obviously they have history together. So I'd be intrigued to see if that's the way they end up going with it. And obviously that's not long term. I think long term he is just going to be kind of a match graphic guy, and we're going to circle back to cool moments that we never thought we'd get to revisit. I'm terrified of the Okada match that Tony's going to book in 3 months, but it's going to happen. I've kind of accepted it. I'm going to complain the entire time until the match happens, to be honest, but because that's just who I am as a person. But yeah, I think there's still some juice left with Shibata, and I'm very excited to see what they actually do and what matches they book, because there's a lot that they could do in AEW. So.
For sure. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last night with Kyle, but it does feel like the way they're telling his story, he's going to get like a reality check at some point, right? Like someone's going to just stop him in his tracks and he's going to have to rebuild all over again, because the story with Kyle is he's not taking the easy route, which means there should be bumps in the road. I think Shibata would be a great person to dish one of those out, right? Like, because I remember vividly when he won the pure belt from Utah. Do you remember the way they presented that, where it was almost like, oh, this is a different game. This is something very different. I think you can, it's not the same, but I think you could tell kind of capture a similar dynamic with that. So we'll see. Hopefully he sticks around, and continues to be kind of a TV regular is probably the wrong word, but someone that we see relatively often. I think we love watching him wrestle. So obviously another hit for Will Osprey, and this was followed by video packages in AEW have become like, it's almost a meme, right? Like the way they're discussed online and stuff, but this was quite the video package for Bryan Danielson here, wasn't it? This was like a career retrospective. We got, some incredible Ring of Honor footage with the Joe match, the Nigel finish. Really, really strong way of kind of contextualizing his career to this point. Not that anyone needed that, but I still think it adds some variety to the show. What do you think? I'm intrigued by your take on this, because as I said, it is kind of it's like a meme within itself now. What's the ideal usage of a video package list? Is it the thing we get once a week with a rotating wrestler? Is it saved for a special case like a Bryan Danielson? What do you reckon? How do you kind of balance that out?
I think building to like a hyped pay-per-view match like this is very, you kind of have to drop something like this, especially if the wrestler is not going to be on any AEW program this week. Like, the whole BCC except for Yuta is going to be in Mexico, so he's not going to. Danielson is not going to have a collision match. Spoiler alert if y'all didn't know. But so like he has to have some type of presence on the show, and the way you could do that very effectively is by doing like a killer video package that everybody's going to remember. I like if he's available to go out in the middle of the ring and say something, I don't think it's that necessary. But I do think that. Even if he was available, just like using these like to just put out there, something that people will clip, throw it on Twitter, something that people will talk about. I do think it's useful in building a match, like because it really does like sell the stakes of the match. Like, it's a non-title singles match, like they said. It's not going to be the main event, but it's something that lets you guys know like how important this match actually is.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Go ahead, Chuck. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. Yeah, he is booked. He's in the 6 man.
Towns, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, he's working the Righteous.
Yeah, he's working the Righteous and Lance Archer.
Well, TK asking him to come back to work the fucking Righteous, bro.
It's incredible. That is actually AEW at its best, brother.
Yes.
God bless.
What a hilarious matchup that is. But yeah, to your point, like what stood out about this one was it wasn't just it like told a more complete version of his story, right? And I think that's always interesting. I do think, again, this is an extreme example, but I do think sometimes you get talent of this caliber, it's like celebrate how great they've been for how long they've been that great, So this stood out in that regard. It's not saying that needs to be the centerpiece of the show, but it was a nice little transition to the rest of what we had here. Up next, the famed Young Bucks, our EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas. And Renee just committed the staggering crime of mentioning their private party defeat from 2019, which I would never have referenced unless Renee did first, but I thought I have to now as a broadcast journalist. So Matthew and Nicholas were not thrilled, Chuck. What did you make of this little backstage promo here to set the stage for the match?
They were not thrilled. I thought this was another just hit for them. They've been so great in these backstage promos. The suits get more ridiculous every week, and it just really adds to the character. Them like calling out Renee and be like, we want to talk to Alex Marvez instead. Like, that was a good bit as well. Like, I'm glad that they called attention to that because they've been doing the bits with him every week. So I don't know. They're just funny guys. I enjoy Matthew and Nicholas on my TV screen quite a bit.
Absolutely. Oh, I think you're a pretty big fan, right? I've heard that. Rumors have said you like Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. Is that true?
I'm somebody who just likes to tell the truth. And if the truth seemed to be seen as like the praises of Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, then it is what it is, bro. I'm not going to be silenced by you libs, Joe. I'm not going to, I'm not gonna be swayed. I'm just gonna keep telling the truth. And I wasn't gonna say anything, but I have to bring this up. When you spoke about Private Party defeating Matthew Nicholas Jackson those many moons ago, I saw the corner of your lip just like perk up a little bit, like you was just reveling in you was just enjoying that they would ever have to lay down for anybody. And you fucking disgust me, Joe. You disgust me. You're not going to get that one over on me. Before we move on, I think you should apologize.
I actually did apologize like immediately, but I will apologize again. I'm sorry to the WrestlePurists Galaxy, my co-hosts, Charlie of Great Britain and King AO. I apologize to all involved. And of course, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. That is fair. I also noticed the lip thing. It was unfortunate. I couldn't help it.
On behalf of the Elite, I accept your apology. It won't be easy to move forward as a podcast or as members of WrestlePurists, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, it was definitely jarring. I mean, folks, we talk off the air, and I will often hit me with the, I'm not letting you libs stop me. First time it's bled over onto the show, so I just want to boundaries, folks. We'll be careful around here. But all right, nonetheless, Okada is here to Ferrari.
Joe would often respond with, "Come on, bro, nigga, just doing his thing." And I'll be like.
There was a great one when you said the lib line. There was a great one where you went about 5 more seconds. You went, well, hold on. you persevered, which I appreciated, but it was good nonetheless. Anyway, on the video package note, they did do a nice job of reminding us that they had this win and like resetting things, and it helps, right? It adds some juice to the match. Like we're watching with Papa Hole, but he wasn't watching when Private Party beat the Bucks. It was a long time ago now, and it added some context and it gave the match a little extra gravity. We'll talk about the match in a moment, but first, do we have any super chats we'd like to go through first?
We do have a couple super chats. Keep them coming in, y'all. Keep them coming in.
Yes.
Your $2 super chat. AO's Go Live takes were crazy. Cena and H, we see you. Look, man. Hold on. Let me just bring these up for someone who may not know what Mr. Yer is speaking about. Because I saw some very interesting things on the World Wide Web earlier. And I think, sometimes you just gotta bring these things to light. What is going on here, man? What is Cena doing with Sean Puff Daddy Combs, aka P. Diddy?
Oh, the shirt
Look
makes it so much.
Look at this.
No.
Hunter can't get enough of him. He just draped over him, bro. He's just loving life. You just know he's been at all the Diddy parties. This is a disgusting act. Let's continue.
Oh, no.
Are you gonna give him any personal space? Like, come on, bro. Your Crocs are on his back. You're smiling ear to ear. You can't even contain yourself. Oh my God!
Oh no!
And then here goes Cena's half naked. Diddy staring longingly into his eyes. You just know they threw a crazy party that night. Look, man, I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything. I'm just sharing the information. You feel me?
The incredible thing about that is, after all of that, I'm still relieved because I thought you were going to say you saw some things on Worldwide, and I was like, oh no.
Look, the worldwide Diddy documents are being uncovered soon. I'm working on getting those unsealed.
No.
There will be an emergency Unpurist episode as soon as I'm able to get a hold of those documents.
Something to look forward to, I suppose.
Chi-Town's first $5 super chat. I won't hear a bad word about the righteous. Dutch is real grabs. Look, man.
No.
Dutch
appreciate
is not
you,
the
Chi-Town
issue,
Spurs.
folks. Let's be fair, Chi-Town Spurs. Dutch is not the issue.
Yeah, no, Dutch isn't the issue. Dutch is okay as a worker, bro. It's really like it's not so much the people. It's like it's their act that don't really do it for me.
It's the
bro.
Presentation, the packaging.
Yeah, I don't really.
I don't like
it's not
it.
for me, bro. Yeah. But hey, man, if you like it, I'm not here to tell you you can't like it, bro.
I feel like
I'm glad there for somebody. I'm glad there for somebody. Uzar Hart, $2 super chat. We do not need a fourth FTR Young Bucks match. I completely agree.
I agree.
I think their chemistry is very overrated. I think they've really only had one match that's worth going back and watching. While their in-ring chemistry I think is overrated, I still think it's pretty fucking good. But like they're like when they try to do segments and like promos and stuff, it's just like they're not good. They're not good. Like their out of the ring chemistry is just it's not good. I don't want to see them feud. If they have to have a fourth match, I'm happy it's a tournament setting where they don't have to feud. Hopefully this is the 2-2 and then we never have to see these guys touch each other ever again.
I am for it for the reason you just kind of stumbled on there with the tournament setting. I think in the tournament setting, especially with the Bucks as heels, I think if ever it will work, this is it. Now, to be clear, I also think constructing a whole tournament just to get better Bucks FTR is not really the most interesting thing. So I don't really disagree with the point. It's just, I do think that inside the ropes, at least, this is the correct dynamic, right? The Bucks as the heels. We saw it with the second match, was the best of their three. So we'll see. I'm hopeful if it happens, but I'm not desperate to see it either.
What do you think, Chuck? You have any thoughts on?
Yeah, I've been very, very adamant in the fact that I don't think this is the route that they should go with it. I don't think that they should do Bucks FTR 4. And if they genuinely have just made an entire tournament so they haven't had to do like a feud for them, I think that's really stupid, and they should have done something more inspired with the younger tag teams. But I also thought that the Bucks were winning anyways, so I don't know why I'm complaining either. I just don't want to see the match again.
Yeah, I get it. I think there's I don't know. I think there's a conversation to be had maybe on another show one day about like some of these tournaments. There's a lot of, I don't want to say money left on the table, but I just feel like there's a lot of good TV that we don't get because of the way these things are put together, you know? It's like, they feel like they are put together in such a sort of mechanical way of like, this is the final one and we'll work backwards, which is fine. But some of the matches, like, you know, some of the matches we've got thus far, they're not very inspiring, right? Like, we're going to review one on this show that was perfectly fine, but it feels like they could do more with it, to me anyway. They're vacant belts. Shouldn't there be a top guy that wants to find a partner so he can try and win the tag titles? You know, like
Honestly,
yeah. I think these tournaments should elevate the belts in a way that these generally don't. But it is what it is. We'll see where they go with that, folks. All right, let's talk about one of those tournament matches, quarterfinal. The aforementioned Young Bucks opposite Private Party, and I thought this was really good. Honestly, I'm aware that there's a particular moment that's going to steal the headlines, but this thing was really encouraging in terms of A, the Bucks working within this gimmick on a TV match, and B, this was a big night, I thought, for Private Party. And I think, you know, they're a little bit inconsistent at times because they don't have a ton of consistency. Like Quen's been hurt so often, it's difficult. They look good here, right, Chuck? This was a good match for the tag tournament. I thought. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I think this is the best the Bucks have looked outside of the Revolution match so far with this new gimmick. Like, working with a team that they've worked with in the past, it really allowed them to, like, play with the dynamic more, and especially when it's, like, an underdog team like Private Party, Private Party that the crowd are like really behind anyways. Like they were able to lean more into the dynamic, but they could also mix in some of their other offense that they've kind of steered away from without the crowd like popping for it as much, because if they're already booing them for being like pricks in the ring. So I think that that really helped them with their game, and the match was really fun. I think Private Party looked great here. Like I said it on the stream last night, but Isaiah Cassidy has developed so much in the time that Mark Quinn's been gone, that even when Mark Quinn's like a little bit behind, Isaiah fills in the gaps. So like it works well for him to have that time to catch back up. So I'm really impressed with them so far, like this year, like since they came back, and I just hope that they keep getting more opportunities, because they could be something in AEW, man, and I think they should go all in on them. No pun intended. But and yes, the Bucks did bring back their move, the shout out to Motor City Machine Guns, a move that they have done a lot in the past. I don't know why people popped for it so much, but they stole that move from the Machine Guns about 6 years ago. So, but yes, they did do it in this match. So take that as you will.
I want to circle back to that, so please remind me, Charlie, because I will forget. But I think the Bucks agree with your assessment when it comes to Private Party. I mean, they made a point of a lot of this match was dedicated in shining up Private Party and making it clear that even though we're going to get our win back, this isn't the end, right? I think Private Party is someone they want to be featured in this division. AO, what did you make of the match?
I completely agree with you guys. I really enjoyed this match. It was a lot of fun. Like Chuck said, the Bucks have been steering away from like the flips and the super kicks to like get more heel heat and make it a point that they're not really like trying to pop the crowd, but they're trying to get booed out the building and stuff. But they could, because they're working such an athletic team that could do a lot of the things that the Bucks and their youth were capable of doing, that they were able to mix some of that stuff in there without getting like too much of a babyface reaction. They gave Private Party a lot. Took a more bang for the buck from them. They clearly want them to be future of the division. I think the hope is that Private Party gets over enough that by the time the Bucks are ready to wrap this like EVP title run up, that maybe Private Party can get the belts off of them down the line. I really like this, bro. It's really encouraging. Like you said, like Isaiah Cassidy, bro. Like he's gotten so much better in the ring and on the mic. It like while like the time that Marcoon was out, it might look like lost time for Private Party in terms of content and like storylines and things people care about and will actually go back and watch. At least Isaiah Cassidy used it as a time to become a much better performer. So that's encouraging. So it wasn't a waste of time at all if they're able to stay healthy and keep the ball rolling from here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. He just looks so much more comfortable. Right? There's like a smoother everything he does. He doesn't look like a guy who's overthinking it. We see that sometimes where less experienced wrestlers, you can see that in their face. You can see like the process going on, right? And he looks more and more like he's actually reacting organically as it should. I should note too, Okada was shown like watching backstage, which I don't know if they shot that stuff last week, because like the way he reacted to the bit they cut to him was so funny. Yeah, like the Private Party was just on the outside and he was like,
it's very nice. Oh, bro, his ass is not watching this match, bro.
No, it was very funny, but yes, a positive match here for sure. And I want to circle back to the Motor City Machine Gun thing. I actually remember, Chuck. Look at that.
Good stuff.
Hanging in there. It feels to me like it wouldn't be an exactly bold prediction to suggest that might be the feud that's waiting for these the new tag team champions, the Young Bucks, post Dynasty. I'm going to be honest. It feels. I look at the division. I look at the fact that coming out of a tournament, you generally want to have like a team re-entering the picture rather than someone who was already in the bracket. Feels like the Guns might be, ready to go in that regard, Chuck. What do you reckon? Do you think I'm getting a little carried away here? What do you think?
I don't think you're getting carried away. I definitely think they're going to be one of the first feuds that the Bucks go, like that the Bucks have with these belts. I don't know whether it will be the first, like a straight away. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing straight after Dynasty, but I think it's pretty inevitable. We see Motor City Machine Guns in AEW, like that it's like a lot of the talent have made it pretty obvious that at least that's where they want them to be, if nothing else. But yeah, I think there's a lot you can do with both Shelley and Sabin as tag and as singles guys in AEW. So it's It'll be a good time.
And the Bucks thing is, there's a lot of depth to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're a huge influence on the Bucks. They worked a lot in TNA in, 2010, right? And so, obviously, in Ring of Honor in the mid-2010s, it just feels natural to me. What do you reckon, Bucks and Motor City coming up soon?
Yeah, I actually got a text when, like, the TNA taping was going on, and they were like, and the person was like, yeah, the machine guns are back here. They're giving everybody hugs and taking pictures. That they're fucking out of here. I 100% assume that they're all elite. The Bucks being their first feud would be a great shout. I don't know, like, they usually try to do like the conservative thing, like build them up like a little bit, like maybe get some of those matches in first, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they debut to a loss. It's the fucking machine guns, bro.
That's the thing,
like,
yeah.
I don't think that's necessary. I think they could come in, lose, and then still have, like, they're still gonna have like the adoration of the fans. They're still gonna have a great run and everything like that. I don't think everybody needs to be protected going into a pay-per-view, whatever the fuck, before they make their debuts. I think it would be a really cool moment. I think with the re-emphasis being put on tag team wrestling, or the hopeful re-emphasis being put on tag team wrestling in AEW, they're a great addition to have to any roster. Like, I don't care how fucking old they are, they can still fucking go. They've had great runs as really recently. They had decent singles runs recently. I'm happy to have the Guns here. It's a shame. I feel bad for the 12 TNA fans still ticking, but the water's fine on Wednesdays. The water's fine on Wednesdays, bro.
Yeah, it's that I'm telling you, bringing those letters back because they were opening. It was a curse. It should have been left to die, but it's back. And I was gonna say we'll see what happens with TNA, but I don't know if we'll see it. Actually, I don't know if we're gonna watch that. But nonetheless, most machine guns. You mentioned the singles runs, and it's like, I'm not gonna say I didn't love Shelley as TNA World Champ.
Yeah.
If you tell me like Shelley is gonna wrestle, like Roderick Strong on Collision, it's like, hold on, like I mean that's very different to him being the world champion, right? That sounds a lot more enticing. Saban, to his credit, I thought he was actually like genuinely impressive with his X Division run. Because I remember people thinking Chris was done many, many years ago after the knee surgery and stuff. So they're super valuable. And you mentioned the tag division. This tournament shows it, right? They're going to help a lot in that regard. So exciting times.
I think the thing with Shelley is that he kind of wanted to do like a style that would pop him during this most recent run. And he was just like, I'm going to actually be a grapple pervert now, guys. And I don't think he's going to like come to a new promotion in front of many, many, many more times fans and try to do the same thing. He'll probably try to work a more exciting style, like a style that the fans that used to watch TNA or Impact are more used to from the machine guns. Not saying he's gonna go out there and hit a fucking shooting star press to the outside.
You're right.
25, but
you're right. You would assume, even if just for the start of their run, you would assume it's going to be, kind of more reminiscent of the kind of pace they would work with for the tandem offense and all that good stuff. You would assume. You'd hope, really, right? Because I think otherwise it's probably a different run. But we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, if indeed it happens, I should know. We're not reporting here, folks. They're not aggregating this. All right. Don Callis, to his credit, I thought got a good promo, setting the stage for Takeshita and Swerve. Swerve got a promo also later in the show. It was a video package, Chuck. It was like
I do not remember this.
They had a video package, and he was talking about Swerve's house and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and later there was one with Swerve, and this is something that, I think you've seen happen more gradually where they try and feature the main event talent in a promo set, right, to kind of give the audience context on what's ahead. And it was well done. Okay, Mercedes Monè arrived. We'll get to her part of the show in a moment. Darby Allin had the deal with Tony Hawk 2, which was an insane visual.
To be huge.
I believe they came back from the break too, and it was like, what is happening here? But it was a cool deal, sincerely. So, all right, here we go. It's that time of the week again. Chris Jericho was backstage with Hook, and he was very proud of Hook. He said he had a quote. He said, I've never seen anything like it. Your skills are so finely tuned, but they're very raw. I said, what's wrong with that? And he was telling Hook that he's very good and things of that nature. And then he said that he wants to be like a mentor. And the one thing I'll say about this positive is Hook made it very clear that he does not have any faith in Chris Jericho's character, which I appreciate. Because if any character should not be impressed by the idea of being mentored by Jericho's Hook, the issue is he then accepted and they moved on with the idea. So, I don't know. What do you reckon here, Chuck? Jericho Hook moving forward, are you excited about this little kind of mini alliance that we've got?
I'm really upset about it, but I think I'm more upset about the fact that they have merch that says Lion Hook now, so they're sticking with this bit for a little while. I'm glad that Hook at least acknowledged the fact that Jericho's a bit of a dick when it comes to turning on people. So I don't know, man. It's Jericho. I don't want to see it. At least Hook will get TV time, I guess. That's
my hope. Is the T-shirt is a red herring, because back in the olden days, meaning 2016. He did the deal with AJ. I don't know if either of you was what you go. You're okay, good. So
I've heard about it. The whole
he Y2 AJ
thing, and then last 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah, and they sold the shirt, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're going to be a tag team," and it was all just a way to fool people, and then he did the angle. I think that's in play here. Eh? What do you reckon? Do you think we might get a quick turn with this? Maybe I'm just being delusional. I don't know. What do you think?
Joe, I know we're making content here, bro, but who gives a fuck? Oh my god! Who cares?
I'm trying, man.
It's about Lion Hook. Oh my god, yo, this was so bad.
I know. I'm trying.
Look, if you guys have listened to WrestlePurists content before in the past, you know that like in the past, like from childhood to pretty much Wrestle Dream, I was a Chris Jericho stan. I wasn't lying and saying everything he did, he knocked it out the park or was great or anything. But Chris Jericho was a living legend in my eyes. Like I was glad to see him a lot of the times. Bro, this shit is unwatchable, bro. He comes on the camera looking fat, old, and defeated, looking just miserable, bro. Like cuts the weirdest, just like monotone, rambling promo. Makes like no sense. And then like Chuck said, oh, well, at least Hook's going to still be on TV. We'll get that out of this. When Hook cut that promo, I didn't want to see his little ass on my TV anymore either, bro. Like, get both of these niggas out of my face, bro. This was so bad. I don't even know how to describe this shit, bro.
You're not, the thing is, like, anyone who's watched the show knows exactly what you're saying. So it's hard to describe. There is an energy to the segments that is like.
The show was great up until this point. Just sucked all the energy out of the show, boy.
It was short too. It was 2
minutes?
Like
and 30 seconds. It was like 30 seconds.
And it still felt like
about it more than like I've complained more than longer than the segment was. But it was like it was just that bad, bro.
It's one of those where. And especially like trying to host this or whatever the hell, it's like what they're doing isn't inherently bad, right? The story they're like attempting to tell is like, it's fine. Like veteran that we don't trust is trying to mentor young, exciting talent. Like it's fine. It isn't exciting, but it's fine. But you're right. There is something to the execution. And it is, you mentioned it there. We have to be fair. This is not just Jericho. I mean, I think Hook, if this is how he's going to cut promos, we're better off not speaking.
Just don't talk at all, bro.
I mean, we saw the one a couple of weeks ago he did live when he was out there with Joe, and it was like, I don't know. We had a long conversation about Hook previously, so I don't want to keep kind of relitigating it, but it does feel like his aura is being actively damaged more and more by just kind of the more you get exposed to what he actually does, right? So I don't know. I tend to agree with your assessment, which is who cares.
Yes.
That's fair conclusion, folks. I'm sorry, that's the best we've got for that. All right. We got any super chats? So take it away, mate. Go for it.
I'm glad you went off about it because I tried to be nice and then had to dip out real quick. It does.
All right, what's going on in the super chats, bro? P. Diddy, $2 super chat. Hey, yo, you want to go party? Let me take you shopping. No, I do not want to go party. I don't need to be taken shopping by a grown man. I appreciate the sentiment. Actually, I don't appreciate the sentiment. Don't do that. Don't do that again. I don't appreciate the fucking sentiment. Thank you for the super chat. Jizzle, $5 super chat. If you view Mercedes' run as a long-term project to build a main event women's division, how has it gone so far? Just a question.
So,
does anybody want to go first? All right, go ahead.
Before we really delve into this, I want to lead with the disclaimer that it's been 3 weeks, so do not get mad at our. We're all very aware of that before we go any further.
Yes.
I thought first week, big thumbs up. Second week, good intentions, bad execution. This week, I do not understand who thought that was a good idea, and not even because I thought she was terrible on commentary. I just don't know who in the room thought that was the best way to A, use her talent, but B, it made her just feel like part of the show in a way that you don't want to do, you know? It's and I know that Punk used to do the commentary with him a lot, but Punk, that's part of his reputation, right? He did the commentary, best on commentary, all that bullshit. I don't understand it this week. I didn't get that play at all. And so I'm less bullish this week than I was previously, but it's been 3 weeks. So I'm not, I'm not calling the police or anything. I didn't love this week. I've got to be honest. Chuck, what have you made of kind of as a long-term project? What have you made of it thus far?
I'm pretty much at the same point as you. I know why they put her out on commentary, but I don't know what it actually achieved because even listening to it, she didn't add a huge amount. Obviously, if it affected the ratings, that's whatever. Who are we to complain then? Because that's clearly what they care about at the moment. But it just feels like they debuted her, but she's not ready to wrestle, which is a huge part out of Mercedes' game as a babyface, especially. Because if she was a heel doing this sort of shtick, it would probably work a bit better, to be honest. But she's a babyface at the moment, and it's something just isn't clicking for me. And I love Mercedes. This is not slander. I want to see her in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What have you made of it thus far?
I don't think it's anything concerning or red alarms going off or anything. But I don't think it was a great use for last week. I was told that 3 hours before she debuted, Mercedes won't be wrestling until through AEW Dynasty, until after the pay-per-view. So I had no reason to believe that I was being misled. So I was like, all right, it's gonna be interesting to see how they use her. Obviously they're using her to try to insert her star power into the TBS title division, which I'm not against, especially involving Willow. Do I really want to see her running around with Julia Hart and Sky Blue? I have to be honest, not really. But I'm always for Willow getting a rub. Increase her, invest in her star power. I feel like this is somebody that the division could be built around in a year, if not a few short years. But just throwing her out there, making her part of the show, it's not really the best way to go about things. We were promised the Mercedes verse when she signed to AEW. There was gonna be a women's segment, and then there was gonna be Mercedes doing her own thing, and she's a woman, so she's gonna have there's gonna be 2 women segments basically. And we didn't really get that this week. We still had Timeless Tony doing whatever her nonsense is. But yeah, she just felt like part of the show. It wasn't a great use of her this week. But
yeah,
the magic in signing Mercedes Monè is through her matches, and until that happens and that doesn't feel special, then that's when you've really fumbled her. But that hasn't happened yet. Hasn't wrestled anybody yet, so we're still all good. Hopefully the first match is soon.
That's the main thing. And again, it's 3 weeks, but it's just the big thing we've talked about a lot that I want them to avoid is her just kind of being slotted into roles that's feels like there's got to be something better, right? I feel like they had to have been something better. And I know that it was successful ratings wise, which is awesome. That's great, and I'm glad that people stuck for the match because generally I can imagine that match would not perform well ratings wise. So that in that regard, clearly it worked. Purely watching the show, I thought it was a mistake. And to be clear, I didn't think she was terrible on commentary. It's just not a natural it's not a natural fit for her. I thought she was fine.
Again, I don't think this is the worst thing ever. I don't think it's an indication of anything to come. It's just my opinion on one wrestling segment on a random Dynamite.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, again, as you said, once the matches start, we'll have a better idea of kind of that's where her value most is. This is not a signing where it's smoke and mirrors. And it's, anything but the match. It's a case of, with her, once she starts wrestling, the value will become more apparent. So hopefully we'll get there soon enough. Speaking of, the four-way was actually up next. Folks, please do keep those super chats coming. We appreciate the support thus far. Willow, Chris, Sky, and Anna J. And I thought they did a hell of a job here, actually. Yeah. And if indeed the ratings suggested people stuck because Mercedes was on commentary, then thankfully the match hit, right? Like, this was a good showcase of the division. I thought everyone had a good showing. Anna J, I think, was pretty clearly the fourth kind of most confident talent in the match. But I didn't think she was bad in it. It was more just she didn't look as natural in here as the others, because they've been working a lot, the other three, right? A lot. So, and I think that showed. But she was fine. Willow and Chris are just tremendous, and I think they really shine bright here. And Sky Blue is always down to take some crazy bumps. So big thumbs up on the four-way. I thought the match itself was really good, Chuck. What did you think?
Yeah, we were talking about it on the watch along, like the way that it was paced, and like it was quite bombastic in its pacing, and like the moves they were doing, and that it went a lot shorter than I actually thought it had. Like, I thought I'd been watching them wrestle like for about 12 minutes, and I looked at my phone, it had been about 7. I was just like, oh shit. And that's always a good thing. Yeah, they did. Yeah, like the match only went like 9 minutes total, I think. It did. I don't think it went over 10. But they really achieved a lot with it, and they maximized their time out there, which is always a good thing with matches. It's not always about the length of them. But yeah, I thought that Sky Blue looked like more comfortable here than she has in a lot of matches, other than like last week, like the match, the tag match last week, the street fight. There we go. But this is like the most comfortable she's looked in the ring, like to me anyways. And she has worked with Willow and Chris a lot, so that's probably part of it. But I don't know, man. I think that they just, all 4 of these women like clicked, and there was a lot to enjoy here. And if this is the sort of women's wrestling we're getting, then yeah, Mercedes has been successful so far.
Yeah. And it's, to be fair to Anna J, she has been better this year too, right? Mm-hmm. That has been a real thing. I'm not here to overstate it because that would be patronizing, but she has been better. And I don't know who produced this, but the agent in was very much, and I think the time point you made, Chuck, speaks to this. Go, go, go. Very tightly produced, kept the people involved, gave Mercedes stuff to react to on commentary. Yeah, I like this an awful lot. What did you make of the Fatal 4-Way?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I was glad that Anna J didn't go out there and have a disaster clash. She low-key got the shit kicked out of her on Twitter this Tuesday. And I'm not going to say it was deserved. I'm not going to say it was undeserved. But I think she definitely saw that, because I know somebody got blocked by her because of that whole thing that went on. So it's unfortunate. I don't ever want talent to feel, well, I don't want to say ever, but most of the time I don't want talent to feel bad just because somebody's giving their honest opinion on their performance. And like if their performance is subpar, I don't want them just reading like people trashing on them, even if it's just like their genuine opinions and not just like shit flinging. Mm-hmm. But she saw that maybe it inspired her performance on maybe it inspired her performance yesterday a little bit. I thought Sky Blue, Willow, and Chris Stack came off looking really good. Like you said, they've had a lot of reps with each other. They've worked each other a lot over the past year, probably more. Anna J, she didn't go out there and embarrass herself, man. She didn't go out there and become the story, which, in my opinion, this is going to sound patronizing, but in my opinion, that's a plus, bro. Like, if you could throw her in a multi-woman match that's well-received, and she didn't completely stick out like a sore thumb, that's a plus. That's a positive use of TV time for her, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like we talked about how Mercedes being on comms like probably isn't the best use of her talents, but it helps the number stay consistent. It pops the quarter. So cool. What the fuck do we know? Just marks on the internet.
That's it, and that's always a hard thing to balance too, isn't it? Like critically, quote unquote, assessing things is always hard with that through that lens also, right? It's like I don't know. It's again, I want to reiterate, I don't think any of us were like, oh my god, mute the TV. Like it was like she's fine.
Right. No.
Willow Nightingale, I should mention, of course, got the win. What do we think? So Dynasty is Willow and Julia. They've actually like announced that, right? That's like for the pay-per-view. Yes. Okay, so what do we think? Is Mercedes involved in the finish there? Is she like, because she's central to the story right now?
She is.
So, Chuck, what do we think? You had a slight grin come across your face there.
I was just thinking about it. I don't know that she'll be involved in the actual finish, but I definitely think there will be a post-match angle, and they're going to make it very clear that the winner, and it should be Willow, is going to be immediately feuding with Mercedes after that, which I think is the right call. Like, they made it very clear that TBS want a lot of brand synergy with Mercedes, so putting that belt on her feels like the right way to do it, I guess. But I'm very excited to see Willow and the Mercedes feud if this is the way it's going. So.
Yeah, I'm intrigued how this kind of shakes out. What do you reckon, this TBS situation? How do you think this is gonna develop across Dynasty?
I think with a talent like as famous and as people as excited for as Mercedes Monè, I don't think she could just be involved in the finish. I think she has to be involved in the match somehow. I don't think they're gonna trot her out there as the fucking special guest referee or whatever. But like, just like House of Black is known for the cheating or whatever. Like, maybe you just throw her on comms just so people would know that she's advertised she's gonna be involved in the match, even though we just like buried like her being on comms. Or make her the fucking special guest enforcer or something like that. Just let people know. Yeah, just let people know that she's gonna be there. She will be involved. Like, if you tune into this match on this pay-per-view, you will see Mercedes Monè do something. And that would be an easy way to transition into the finish, where you let it be known as like there's going to be a Willow Mercedes program, or however they're going to go with this.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, and the Chris part of it, Charlie mentioned, like, that's kind of looming here. So I don't know. They've got my attention with it. And again, it was a good night for this match to be good, right? Seriously, like it, because I think our conversation and our slight, our slight disappointment with Mercedes part of this in terms of her usage, the conversation would be a lot less positive if the match sucked, right? Let's be real. Like, the match was good, so it was like, oh, at least the people that tuned in for Mercedes saw something worth watching. So, positive, sure. Julia Hart did have a post-match angle with Willow as she attacked her. Then we had a smash cut backstage to the natural Dustin Rhodes, and live on the watch along, I began to get very excited because I assumed that Roderick Strong was going to walk into the scene. I assumed he was going to yell Dustin. We were going to have a match for This Is Rampage, baby. And then the Butcher turned up instead. And I like the Butcher. I don't know. I don't really like watching him wrestle much, but I like the Butcher a lot. And in all seriousness, Dustin Rhodes and the Butcher is the most Rampage match to ever Rampage. So I'm fine with this. Are you tuning in for Rampage this Friday, bro?
Jesus Christ, bro! Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm spiteful in any way towards the natural Dustin Rhodes. I'm not. I enjoyed some of the stuff he did in early AEW. I have some decent memories of Goldust. Like I've said, I wasn't watching 92 WCW, so I don't have those memories with the natural that Joe does. But like, I don't want to fucking watch this, bro. Like, when he went out there and was cutting the promo, I was like, oh no, this could, like, I was thinking, oh, Roddy's not advertised for anything. Like, just making this a Roddy title defense. It's harmless, right? It could be actually a very fun match, actually, like, let alone harmless. But they fucking Butcher, bro. Why? Why are we doing this? Like, I don't know. I won't be watching, bro. CMLL is gonna be on. I will be taking in the vibes from Reno, Mexico.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to watch Rampage because Roderick Strong is wrestling Daddy Magic, and let's look. Some things I feel legally I have to tune into.
Wait,
so
with the Roderick Strong Daddy Magic, did I miss something? What?
They just
announced it.
Yeah, they just taped it and tweeted about it. Yeah.
I saw the like the match graphic on my phone. I was just like, what the fuck? Did I miss a segment? Did I miss the stare down? Did I miss anything?
You didn't. They're just doing a match. Yeah. Dustin is probably gonna have, because usually with Dustin, so the last time he had a match like this, I don't know if you guys remember, he got booked like he beat Willie Mack on Collision one week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like to set him up for the Christian
TNT
match,
title, yeah.
So I assume there's some sort of like 20-minute Dustin loss coming up, and this is the bridge to get there. So I don't know. We'll see if it is Roddy, hopefully.
Well, the Cope Open is back on Saturday.
Oh, no. Let's not do that.
That's scary as fuck.
I would avoid that match, to be honest with you. And I
would also avoid it, but Dustin, you said about TNT titles.
You're right. God. I just, I don't know if that's the right go here. We'll see. Cope Open, quickly, could you bring it up? Who would be the ideal Cope Open challenger on Saturday? What do you think? Rocky
I'm trying to
Romero.
give this some thought. And I genuinely have no clue. Who would you throw out there to have an exciting match with Adam Copeland in a loss?
Has he wrestled Brian Keith yet?
No, give it time. I'm sure he will. I think everyone on the roster is going to wrestle BK at some point.
Yeah.
I think that could be interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm scrolling here furiously.
I'm going to give you all an answer. I'm not going to.
Okay, I'm going to tell you who I think it will be. This is not I think it will be Ethan Page, but we'll see.
Oh yeah,
Canada.
Still in Canada.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. Oh yeah, he's from French Canada.
I think
French Canada.
I think all
he's from fucking Quebec or some shit like that. Montreal.
They're in London now.
Some shit like that, ain't he?
Yeah. Now I heard someone in the chat said there's some Buddy Matthews talk in the chat, which I mean that sounds good to me.
They don't do jobs over there, brother.
Look, Buddy's got many faults. He certainly is open to doing some jobs. He lost to the infantry a couple weeks ago. He's not the culprit.
It's sad that he gets like
he is
pulled into that talk, bro, because like he does lay down, bro. So like the fact that people talk about him like it's not necessarily true. Is the trying to run back to WWE thing maybe true? Maybe, I don't know, maybe, but he is willing to lay down.
Yeah,
who else is Canadian other than Kyle O'Reilly? Because I don't think it's him because he has a match. They didn't announce what it was, but they said that he had a match.
Angelo Parker.
He is also Canadian.
That would be a match, wouldn't it?
Wow, Angelo Parker and fucking Zack Zodiac cost him the match.
Oh, that's why fucking Daddy Magic's getting that match. I just put two and two together. There wasn't fucking.
Yeah.
Stu
that's
Grayson.
why Dustin's facing the Butcher. Isn't the Butcher Canadian?
What about Stu Grayson? Is he still there?
Yeah, he's got a new contract.
Grayson is still like a human being that like exists on this plane, bro. Like he got that All Elite again graphic. He had a little Ring of Honor program that I did not watch. But then they had that hardcore Ring of Honor match that ended up being a lot of like I really enjoyed that match, bro.
Awesome.
That hardcore multi-man match. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have gave this thing a chance. And then he just fucked off. Yeah, but he is from that part of he is from that region of the world. Maybe they pull out Stu Grayson.
Yeah, I think it may be. I know Evil Uno is he's wrestling. I know it's already happened, but I guess on the Ring of Honor show now he's wrestling JD. I think on tonight's show, which is I don't know. There's a lot of wrestlers that work for All Elite Wrestling, folks.
There really are. There is a surprising amount of Canadian wrestlers as well. JD Drake.
Oh. I was like,
I only missed 1 week.
Over here for like, what's going on?
You were sitting there. I missed 1 week, and they got the Judgment Day in.
Just do more Ring of Honor, bro.
Yes, incredible. All right. Okay, with that detour established and completed, do we have any new super chats? So it's been about half an hour by this point talking about Adam Copeland, so I assume we do.
You saw our $5 super chat. Mercedes not wrestling for over a month is a terrible idea. It's not helping that I despise Timeless Tony at this point. Worse than Julia by a lot.
Goodness.
Well, as one of the more public Timeless Tony supporters on WrestlePurists, I'm over the act, bro. Like, it's not giving me anything anymore. It's not helping that they're running back this feud with Deonna Purrazzo for whatever reason. And Deonna's like a fine talent, but she's not a talent that I would do 2 pay-per-view cycles with, like randomly in a like I don't know. I want work rate champions. AEW's got the horses to have work rate champions in the women's division. Good for Tony for like getting the character over and like wanting to really lean into character work and do all that stuff. But I'm over it. I don't want to see it anymore. Mercedes not wrestling for over a month is a terrible idea. Well, it depends on how necessary you think big business was. Because if they waited until after Dynasty, they wouldn't have been able to do it. The NBA playoffs start like the week before Dynasty, a couple days before Dynasty.
Right.
The Boston Celtics are the first seed in the East. they're not going anywhere anytime soon. The TD Garden is going to be booked up. There's not going to be Wednesdays available. So it seems like this was their only window to get the big business in, and if she's gonna be cleared relatively soon after Dynasty, then I get why they did it. It's not ideal, but it's life, bro. Not everything can be perfect.
Yeah.
And to be fair, to the Julia point, one of the reasons I think with Julia it's a little bit, I personally find it to be an easier pill to swallow, is like Julia's a prospect too, right? So it's like whether you like the act or not, there's an investment there. With Tony, this is just like who she is right now. I guess it is what it is. So I get it for sure.
Right. Let's see. Chi-Town Spurs, $10 super chat. We appreciate you like always, bro. I do think having Mercedes visibly and audibly pop for all 4 wrestlers was designed. I agree. Trying to get her fan base on board with the rest of the division is a good idea. They all delivered too. Yeah. I was personally popping that they would do a move and Mercedes would be the first one to call it. I remember people had that joke that like when she accidentally was going to call Sky Blue the TPS champion, like as opposed to it being like just a flub live on air, like she just didn't watch the fucking show and knew nothing about the division. I didn't think that was true, but it is reassuring to like she does know something about these ladies. Like she's invested in the division. She's not just there getting a check. So
that's a good way of putting it. Actually, to me, that actually is probably the kind of inspiration for the idea. I think that's because I was wondering that, like, again, not that I disliked it, even it was just kind of like, why would that be the idea? I think Chi-Town Spurs might be onto something with that. Actually, good call.
Indeed.
Richard Starks, $5 super chat. Where's my Ibu Zaddy? Joe, you're looking like a hunk right now, though. Flex for us, queen. Yes.
That's a horrible experience. That's the first time I've actually been in the Ibu seat on that one. That's not fun. That was
Joe, are you going to flex for us, queen? Yes.
I'm not. No.
Okay.
I had to ask. That's fair. I appreciate you.
Saying that in the Ricky voice and then so deadpan.
That was again. It's different when you're in this seat. I gotta be honest. That was different. Okay, all right. There you go, folks. Toni Storm was on up next, and she was with the Turner Classic Movies gentleman whose name escapes me, and they did a bit, and that was that. Then there was the Swerve promo, which I mentioned earlier, that was kind of in response and was nice, kind of giving the main event some gravity. And then we were back to the tag title tournament, Undisputed Kingdom versus Orange Cassidy and Trent Brea. And this was, it was the match of the night that was like a dip in energy, but it actually was a pretty good wrestling match. I thought, to be fair, I actually thought the Kingdom is so solid, right? Like they're never going to be a team that gets a bunch of hype, but I think they're very, very professional and reliable. And I thought that was the case. I thought they had a pretty nice match. What did you make of the tag match?
It's unfortunate the reputation that the Kingdom has within the AEW fan base, because they are good wrestlers, bro. Like the issue with them in Ring of Honor was never their tag runs. It was their booking around their singles runs, so people got spiteful about them. And then I feel like the AEW fans who never really watched Ring of Honor, they heard that they heard that this was the take on them to have on the internet, so they took it and they ran with it. And it's not like they come onto the screen and they're like the most exciting talent. So people were just like, it's easy to write them off as dorks, and they're not, bro. They're good professional wrestlers. I wish that they got more respect. I went up there and they had a good showing. Like, yeah, it's easy to not be excited about Best Friends versus the Kingdom in 2024. I kind of want OC to go away for a little bit right now. Like, I love OC. I don't think he's doing anything that's bad. I think he's a great talent. I think he's still a good act. But I do think everybody needs to take a break. AEW used to cycle people out a lot, and I feel like it helped, bro. Like people would return that were on the roster the whole time, and fans would go crazy like it was a brand new debut. And we're not really getting that anymore because like people aren't like going away at all. Like they would have a huge run, and then that run would end, and it's just like, oh, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. Don't worry. Right. And it's just like, nah, give us some time to miss you, bro.
Yeah.
But it was a good piece of business. There was some discourse about the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions getting pinned in the second round of the tag tournament, and I'm here to tell you, folks, I don't care. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't
Yeah,
care.
it's hard to get worked up about that at this point in the game.
It's 2024.
Look what they were
shouldn't even
doing with
exist
those
anymore.
belts last year.
I don't.
Like-
Yeah, I don't know.
At least they're on an actual tag team.
Right. It's on a tag team. They have an actual tag team matches. The Death Before Dishonor match will be pretty good, whatever it's going to be. I'm sure it'll be good. I don't care that they got pinned. It is what it is.
The Ring of Honor deal with this, like, if someone, I don't watch weekly, so I kind of I leave it to the folks that do. But like, I don't know what to make of it anymore. You know, it's like, I don't. Yeah, well, I will say,
I tune in if there's a nice women's match graphic. Very rarely I'll see a men's match that I'll care about. But I've been watching the Queen Aminata
she's been killing it.
It's been very good. I've been tapping in for Athena if she's doing something that's interesting. But other than that, you know, it's just largely missable content and great pay-per-views, which I'll take.
Yeah.
Because the company shouldn't even exist still. So I'll take it, bro.
For sure, yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I'm always kind of hesitant to speak on it, because I don't want to do the sort of, you know, some folks, they dress it up as this sort of ridiculous, look at what Tony has done to Ring of Honor. It's like, well, I mean, we have to be realistic about what the reason Ring of Honor ended up in that situation. Right. I was watching. I'm very aware, you know, but there is a part of me that's like, there is definitely a part of me that kind of thinks, I wonder how we would perceive this product if it wasn't called Ring of Honor. You know, if it was just a distinct developmental situation, because it's a weird one,
it's bro. Because like the champs in NXT, they come up, they get pinned all the time. As long as it's not the NXT World Champ, there's no discourse that comes from it at all.
Right.
From like good faith WWE fans, they don't give a fuck, bro. The NXT Tag Champs will come up and they get pinned. It just is what it is. But yeah, I guess because it's this whole my precious Ring of Honor, like people get up in arms about it.
I think it's one of those things people are still struggling to kind of adjust to what it actually is at this point. And honestly, let's be real, what it's been for a long time. I mean, 20, you know, what we're looking at now has been it's been a long time since Ring of Honor was the product people talk about from yesterday, if we're being honest. So it is what it is. Nonetheless, to your Orange Cassidy point, it's like I know there's an issue in terms of the fatigue, because when I actually focus and watch the matches, I always enjoy them because he's that good. But you do feel an instinctual, I can kind of just, you know, do other things for a minute. And like even last night on the stream chat, right, we were just kind of like, use this chance to talk. And it's not.
We talked about Lynn last year.
It isn't a reflection of him as a talent. He's incredible. It's just, I've seen him wrestle so many TV matches, and it does. You feel it, but nonetheless, Charlie, what did you make of the tag match here?
I thought it was a really well worked tag team match that I have absolutely nothing to say about, because of both the teams are solid and they did a solid job in the ring, and the crowd kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to remember it in 48 hours. It was just one of those types of TV matches. I think that like Orange Cassidy, like after dropping that belt to Mox the first time, like they needed to pivot with him, and I don't know, like just let him have have a month off, and then I think it will be a massive pop when he returns. Like he doesn't need to be on the next pay-per-view, and I'm really worried that they're gonna somehow get Orange Cassidy versus Trent on this pay-per-view, which is like, as much as I think that match is gonna be great, let it breathe a little bit. Not everything needs to be booked in time for the next pay-per-view cycle. You can have longer stories. Like, I don't know. It is what it is.
So to be clear, we're still doing the Trent is actually.
I'm locked in. I'm still locked in.
I think Trent's turning heel. There's no doubt in my mind, honestly. I don't. That shouldn't be a match for Dynasty. If anything, I feel like you do that angle, I would stretch a job. OC really sell this Trent heel turn, bro. Get him some heat, like. And then let OC come back later down the road, and if there's gonna be a singles match, do it for Double or Nothing, bro. Like, I like Trent as a talent a lot, but like he's just like a high work rate guy. It's just like kind of a blandish character. So I don't know how a singles run would go. I still think they should turn Rocky Romero 2 and do Roppongi Vice. Chuck's been on the sideline. I don't know what he's got going on. Maybe it's I think it's like an ankle or something like that. Maybe he'll be back in time for Double or Nothing. You could run a non-title tag match, Best Friends versus Roppongi Vice, or you could just get the ROH tag titles off of Kingdom at the pay-per-view, put them on Punky Vice because they don't have a match booked yet. There's nothing booked for Ring of Honor yet except for Ishida, Athena, and Briscoe and Kingston, right? That's just it. So I would do Punky Vice versus Kingdom. I would swap those titles. It's hard though. It's heel versus heel, but still.
You could even do a triple. Their last pay-per-view, I think they did like a four-way.
They had like 5 teams. Like I pitched it the other day on Girls and Grouch, just throw in some of the international tag teams they've got in town for me.
Yeah, throw some luchadors in there.
Like,
throw some luchadors in there. Throw some New Japan talent in there.
Like CCK. That's again popping just myself with that bit. But...
Respect. All right, there we go. Orange and Trent advanced. I believe Trent got like a roll up on one of the Kingdom members.
This must have been tonight.
There's
there you go. There's another match.
They announced Fletcher versus Lee Johnson. That's good for Lee Johnson, bro, because I said I was going to watch the woman, but if I would scrub through the episode and I saw Lee Johnson doing something, I would stick around for his matches. He's become a good little worker, bro.
He's a talented guy.
Lee. I like Lee, bro. And there's the women's TV title match, Billy Starks versus Queen Aminata. I can't believe I forgot about that. I'm really excited for that match. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a shot that Queen Aminata wins. I think they made that belt for Billy, but it should be a really, really good match.
I mean, the 4 matches announced would suggest we're going to continue the trend of good Ring of Honor pay-per-views, right? I think it's fair. I mean, that sounds good. It's just, I was saying last night in the watch along, the Briscoe Kingston match is a great example of current Ring of Honor, and it's like, I wish it had my attention more than it does, you know? And I know what's going to happen. Mark's going to cut one promo and I'm going to be like, here we go. I'm locked in. Let's get this belt.
I'm actually a Ring of Honor super fan. Mark wins the belt. I'm watching Ring of Honor weekly.
Yeah,
for that week and a half. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Because they're that great. But it won't feel the way that I'd love it to, but it is what it is, right? I'm sure the match will be great, and same goes for the rest of those announced. But
real quick, Mark has to go over here, right? He's going over.
He has to. Yeah, he has to.
Like, you can't book this match.
And I actually have a specific pitch, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Eddie Kingston losing 2 of his belts and having like a crisis, and Christian Cage seeing this as an opportunity, because that's what he does, right? He preys on guys that him seeing this opportunity and thinking, I can get the one belt this piece of shit has left standing, and like, can you imagine Christian doing the I can be your father shtick to Eddie Kingston?
That would be amazing.
42-year-old Eddie Kingston. Like, I was thinking about this stuff. That would be a great way to bring Christian back. Like, Eddie's doing a promo in the ring, and he's like, you know, he's devastated about all that's happened in the belts he's lost, and Christian's music hits. I think that could be something.
That could be some all-time TV.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Chuck, do you think they're dropping that strong title to Gabe Kidd, or do you think that's just a fun match that they booked to the pay-per-view? You think they're dropping it Gabe? I like Gabe a lot.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna be sad about him getting belted up. That'd be at least like another.
It won't be at Windy City.
Beyond, but
it's the
it won't be at Windy City. It'll be at Resurgence. Yeah, but I'm very
honestly, you do the angle after that and do the thing where he's lost all the belts then, right? Because obviously Christian being the New Japan Strong Champ wouldn't be what you do anyway. So, because Christian, I think, what we just talking about Orange, I think you give him a little bit of time here, right? Let everyone miss him, and he can come back with a new target in mind. So, yeah, that'll be intriguing. Kyle O'Reilly was backstage, and he's going to wrestle again on the Collision. Maybe against Rocky Romero. We'll see.
It could be Rocky Romero.
That'd be cool. But again, we're continuing that story, and he's like the most grounded, real person on the entire show. So good for Kyle. Copeland video package. I think we've discussed the Cope Open enough. Main event time, folks. Before we get into it, do we have any super chats, mate? Go for it.
Let's see.
Lost call on these two.
Chi-Town Spurs, $5 super chat. We appreciate you, bro. Ring of Honor is basically good women's business and Lee Johnson. Yep. From what I watched, I can't disagree with that sentiment at all.
That's all we've talked about it pretty much. So.
Yeah.
Anjan, $5 super chat. We appreciate you, fans. Motherfuckers love to waffle about ratings, ticket sales, like it affects their personal pockets. Also, dropped a Monè edit. Check it out. Check out Anjan's edits, bro. He works hard on those. Bro, I can't imagine giving a fuck about ratings or ticket sales, bro. I do my bits. But I don't actually care.
It's difficult for me because I do get paid based on the Collision gates. So
Joe does get a percentage of those.
Yeah, I have to step out on this one, but yeah.
I think with AEW fans, like there's a certain kind of insecurity there because they've been told by like the bad faith grifters, just like, oh, this thing's gonna die, this thing's gonna die, this thing's gonna die. It's not gonna die. They're gonna get $1 billion from Warner relatively soon. And hopefully when they do get that $1 billion, like we can kind of just like shut up about all this. Who gives a fuck, bro? Like, bro, Dwayne and CM Punk were on Raw. It's Mania. They did like 1.6 again, bro. Like 1.7.
Mm-hmm.
They did not. They're never gonna hit 2 million again on Raw. I don't know. So like, it just is what it is. It's just landscape of TV, bro. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I don't know.
Honest the Sultan, $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Tribalistic fans need to be bullied and called bootlickers. Well, hold on now. Though they probably enjoy that. Look,
Jesus.
I agree. You know, tribalistic WWE fans, you make me sick. Can you live your life in such a fashion? Get a job, take a shower, stop being tribalistic on the internet. Who would do such a thing? Certainly not me. Disgusting behavior.
You would never do such a thing.
Never. I'm here to enjoy grabs.
Yeah.
All right. We're all caught up on super chats.
Wonderful. Keep them coming, folks. We're into the main event now. So if you have any remaining questions or comments, fire away. But in the meantime, Konosuke Takeshita, Swerve Strickland. This was the ideal watch-along match last night, especially because I had the show on mute, so I was just watching insane wrestling maneuvers back and forth for 20 minutes. And my goodness, in particular here, it felt like Swerve, because he knew he was going over clean, was like, Takeshi's going to get some room to do his thing here.
Yeah, he sure gave him a lot there.
He gave him a lot, and they had time where they could do that without sacrificing Swerve. So they tore it up. It took them like a while to like hook the people because the people knew Swerve was winning, right? Like it's obvious he's going for Joe. That's fine. Once they got him, it was rocking, and there were some big near falls, some great offense. This was spectacular, honestly. I assume this popped you very, very much. What did you think of the main event?
Oh, you said AO.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been
you good, yeah.
Been hitting the blunt kind of hard, Joe. I can't lie.
You're a little rusty till you missed last week.
Last week, bro. Time is off. But no, bro, I fucking love this match. There's no secret. You see my Twitter. These are two talents that I absolutely adore. It was a little bit of nervousness going in because it's going to get compared to the Osprey Takeshita match. And to me, like, Osprey's the best wrestler in the world right now, bar none. It was a pay-per-view match. They were given a lot of time to do their thing. They were never going to be able to be 1 for 1. But oh my god, what a fuck! This was my TV match of the year, I think. Like Takeshita, bro, like he just looks like a fucking superstar out there when he's in the ring, bro. I don't know. I haven't looked at the quarters. I don't know if the TV audience. I didn't hear anything about the main event bombing or anything, so I'm assuming it did perfectly fine. But when the TV audience, it was fine.
Yeah.
What did you say, Chuck? Okay.
So, no, it was fine.
When the TV audience like catches up with like Takeshi and they get behind him, bro, like we're gonna be able to get more of these main events and stuff. But like he's just he's someone that you could really like build around in the future, bro. He's a fucking cyborg, and him just being able to like unleash like his arsenal with somebody as athletic as Swerve, and then Swerve being able to give it back just as good as he got it. Well, like that's professional wrestling, baby. I nearly tore off my fucking t-shirt when I saw that pop up Swerve stomp, bro. Like Swerve's like 230 pounds, casually hitting spiral taps and shit, bro. AJ Styles got to like 202 pounds and was like, yeah, I can't do it anymore, bro. I'm just too big. Like I don't know how to. I physically am incapable of doing a spiral tap anymore. Like these are just freak athletes that we need to give them their flowers while they're doing this freak athletic shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very exciting. There was also like an interesting kind of theme here where some of Swerve's signature offense was countered, right? That kind of thing he does where he rolls with the suplex. He got brain busted. Yeah. He rolled into a knee. And I think that is something I think if the Joe match, the best version of the Joe match, I think we see a lot of that stuff, honestly. So yeah, there was a lot to like each other. What a main event this was, my goodness.
This match, like, it really blew me away how they were able to do so much and have such a dynamic match, and it left me wanting more and feeling like there was so much that they didn't do in this match. Like, that's what you want from wrestling, especially with guys as young and as like talented as Swerve and Takeshita, like, who you should be building your promotion around. Like, I'm ready to see Takeshita like getting wins again, but like he looked incredible in defeat here. Like him and Swerve had great chemistry. Like, it took a little bit in the beginning. I thought there was like a little bit of back and forth, like getting into the groove. But once they hit once they hit the groove, like there was barely any missteps. Like they kind of felt perfect for each other, and they were pulling offense out of nowhere. Like Swerve hit the house call, and like you said, Takeshita hit that like brain buster and stuff. Like they were taking some scary bumps in this match, but it really added to it, and I'm very excited to see them clash paths again, because they if you give them like 25 minutes on a pay-per-view, that's like a match of the year contender. Like, that's crazy.
I think that's more within reach than folks may realize too, because I mean, I think it's pretty apparent Swerve's getting the belt here at Dynasty. And it's like, you look at the roster and consider like who are the guys he's going to work in title defenses. I think Takeshita's pretty high on that list. Now, there's some work to be done there, right? Like, I think you need to give him some wins and such before you can think about pay-per-view main events. But the way he wrestles, the performance level, it wouldn't take much, I don't think. I mean,
no, I don't think so. You could heat him up.
Quickly. Because, like, I guess we'll just quickly kick that around because that's a fun topic here before we get out of here. Like, we all think Swerve's winning at Dynasty, right? I think that's like,
you don't book this match if you don't.
And I think that's been the plan from as soon as it was even decided Joe was winning the belt, right? I think that was entirely the direction. I think at one point it was going to be Revolution, and then they kind of April pay-per-view this third Dynasty, which is fine by me. Who is the double or nothing match, do we think, for Swerve? Because it's first pay-per-view as champ, and it's in Vegas, big show. What do you reckon?
I really want it to be Mox. I think Mox.
I was going to say Mox. It feels like a Mox slot to like drop in, because who's going to say that Mox doesn't deserve a title shot? He's John Moxley. Like, he cuts one promo and it's just like, well, fuck, he's in the title scene. Like,
Mox beat Swerve in the Classic, right? Too, in the Continental Classic.
That's right.
So the
one-on-one match, and
I think that's the natural way, right? I think.
I don't even really have like a close number 2 right now.
What do I?
I'm trying. I have the roster open right now. I'm trying to look.
I mean, what's the pay-per-view after Double or Nothing? Forbidden Door?
Forbidden Door, yes.
Which could be anything by that point.
Which could be quite literally
could be wrestling
anything.
Nick Nemeth by that point. I don't have a clue what will be happening.
You know who he should wrestle on that pay-per-view?
I know you're about to say Destiny. I know you're going to say Destiny.
I actually wasn't. I was going to say Shingo.
Shingo, yeah.
Oh,
it's always Shingo or Destiny, so awesome. Very valid answer. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking through the roster right now. I'm just like, there's not. I think we gotta flip a couple people heel here, bro. Like this.
Yeah, it's the reason I kind of started talking about this was, in a vacuum, I think Takeshita's a better babyface because he's so exciting.
Yeah.
But if you look at the roster, he's probably better because it's just easier to climb up as a heel, right? There's not a lot of names.
There's a lot of space to climb with the rankings as a heel right now.
Yeah. We haven't even mentioned Hangman coming back. I don't know whether they would do another singles match though.
The issue too is that like Swerve's winning, so I don't know if I don't even want to go back to the Hangman thing when he's not gonna win. He's lost all of those matches, right? Or there was a draw, I guess.
Lost all of them in one draw,
Yeah, it's interesting. Very, very interesting. The big thing, obviously, as we've all said a million times over, is you need to train the audience that it's like a collision call. Swerve and Osprey are the top guys, and by August, you want the people to be like ready to go on this match without even telling them. You want the people to be thinking that. So
you just want to put them in a ring together and like let them go face to face and not say a word to each other, like for like 2 minutes, and just let the crowd react. And you need the crowd to react to that, and I think they will at that point. So
I agree completely. What do we think with Takeshita? Do we think he's a candidate to take the TNT belt when Cope's ready to drop it? What do we think? Could
I
be
think that's Danny's belt. I think
but I think they're sliding Garcia into that, and they continue to like make him a part of the TNT verse with him running out there and celebrating with him and everything. So I think that's where they're headed with that. I think it's Garcia's belt.
It'll be interesting. Takeshita, I think it goes without saying he has to be one of the main priorities, right? They got to get it right with him. He's special.
Yes.
And just so no one really can compare. I mean, Osprey is like, he's just got the promotion, so you could say he compares. But generally speaking, offensively, Takeshita is in a league of his own, right? It's just, it's insane. Yeah. But it was called for Swerve to be the main character of the TV here this week again, right? I think that was important because I think they're closing the show at Dynasty, right? I believe that's the case. And especially with him winning the belt at the pay-per-view. So speaking of such, there was a brief Smojo promo that followed. And next week will be a contract signing, which is fine by me. I know people hate the trope, but when two good promo guys do a contract signing, I'm fine with that. That's no problem.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully, what have we got here? 3 more Dynamites to the pay-per-view, maybe 3. I think it's right.
I think so.
Hopefully they, the contract signing can keep this up, keep it going, because I do think post Revolution it did take a slight backseat. This week, Swerve was the centerpiece again, and next week, hopefully, the contract signing is a home run. So that was Dynamite. Final thoughts on Dynamite before we get to these last couple of super chats, folks. Last call on those, by the way. But I really, really enjoyed the show, Chuck. What did you make of Dynamite overall?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Dynamite this week. Like, the in-ring action this week had made it like probably my favorite Dynamite of the year, like just off the top of my head. Like the wrestling was just top quality and what you expect from an episode of Dynamite. Like the in-between stuff, it was a little more a little more missed this week than like the segments have been in previous weeks, but I really enjoyed it. I think that they are still on a really steady path and they haven't really missed this year with an overall episode. So good stuff.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot right now. And I know there's a million and one conversations about the promotions, momentum or not momentum, and whether that exists or not, or whether there's a shift now. I don't know. All I can say is watching the show, I'm generally enjoying it. And I thought last night, this week was really, really fun. Oh, do you co-sign? It seemed like you were into this show also, right?
Really like this episode. Really like the episode. A lot of enjoyable wrestling. Love Swerve being the main character of Dynamite again. I really don't want them to fall into the trap they did with Hangman, where it's like, we got behind the right guy, but then we had a big new star coming in, so we had to center the TV around him. With Hangman, it was Punk. With Swerve, like Billy has like. He needs the attention that he's getting.
Yeah.
But Swerve, it needs to be equal going into All In, is all I'm saying. So I'm glad that it was a Dynamite centered around him. He had a great performance, reminded the people why he should have Dynamites centered around him, reminded the people why he's the next world champion. Good bit of business, bro. It was a really important episode heading into Double or Nothing. Excited for the contract signing next week. Like, it's a tired trope, but when you have good promo guys, 2 creative people, there's magic to be made.
Dynasty, bro. I don't want to get you fined. It's Dynasty. No, not the Double or Nothing.
What did I say? Oh, Double or Nothing.
Yeah. You're getting so excited. You're looking forward to the Moxley match. It's fine. You're a little rusty. It's what
you can be forgiven when they insert new pay-per-views randomly.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Anyway, final super chats, mate. Have we got any last ones to get to?
We do. Dan V900, $10 super chat. We appreciate you, brother. Mark has to win, especially with it being exactly 11 years to the day since Jay won the title. They still have Mark versus Joe in their back pocket since Mark has never beaten Joe in a singles match.
They should do that match at Wembley Stadium.
They really should do that match.
Like, people are gonna think like we're doing a bit right now because like we love Joe and we love Mark, but no, they really should do that at Wembley Stadium, bro.
That'd be a sick match.
Like we all agree that there needs to be more of an emphasis on singles matches that matter in Wembley.
Yeah.
And like Joe and Mark, bro, these are 2 people that are like all timers when it comes to getting like fan investment and crowd investment. Like they know how to work a crowd. It'll be heated. I think that's a great idea.
And it wouldn't need a ton of time either, right? Like you saw Joe's, like Joe can, especially in a stadium, like 10, 12 minutes, Mark Briscoe.
If it went 10, who's going to complain, bro? If it went a fast heated 10, who's going to complain?
Yeah. And like, again, it's totally a biased thing, but I don't care. Mark Briscoe getting a Wembley moment would be one of the coolest things ever. Like, that would
be so dope.
I'm going to tweet about this and start a campaign. Carol, next super chat.
God bless.
Shot Town's first $5 super chat. We appreciate you, bro. Current AJ Styles looks like one of those dogs they're trying to
He actually sincerely looks like Randy Savage in like 2000, dude. It is fucking
looks
insane.
like he's going to explode, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is quite scary.
Shout out to him. Whatever he's doing, I hope it's safe.
From what I've seen, I mean, obviously he's slowed down. From what I've seen, he's still like, it hasn't affected his wrestling much. His decline is just his decline. You know, I don't think it's. He's another guy's a freak athlete. I mean, AJ's, was he 46 now? 47?
Like 50 years old, bro. Like 47. He is turning 47 June 2nd.
Yeah. Probably makes sense that he slowed down a little bit, right? It's probably allowed. But yeah, he does look absolutely insane. He has like the beard dyed, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
AJ's shown that like when he's like no, this is gonna be a good match. He's still very capable of having a good match. Like he's just not gonna beat himself up on weekly television. I can't fault him for it, bro. He's fucking 50 years old, man.
It feels like
WWE. What are you gonna kill yourself over there for?
In fear of doing Mania talk with you, AO, because that doesn't seem like something you'd be very interested in. It feels like if they do a plunder match, he's going to take a really dumb bump in that LA Knight match, right? Just to try and make it something that's worth watching. I feel like he's going to do something. He must have something up his sleeve. I think he's going to need.
I said that AJ's the type of guy that, you know, when he puts his foot down and says, this is going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match. But that Mania match with LA, bro, I will be sitting here watching intently, brother, ready to clip anything at a moment's notice because I am fully expecting a fucking disaster class coming out of that match.
When it was going to be a straight up wrestling match, I think they've got to give him a step. They did a house invasion. They've got it, right?
Oh, they did a house invasion. Yeah, they're gonna do.
They gotta give him a step.
It's gonna be a hardcore match.
Indeed.
Scary shit.
What way to close the Dynamite review? The WrestleMania preview show.
me just burying poor Eli Drake. He's supposed to have his WrestleMania moment and shit.
Nonetheless, speaking of WrestleMania, I'm gonna get my plug out of the way now, and then we'll wrap up here, folks. Tomorrow night, following Rampage, the Big Daddy Magic extravaganza, 11:05 Eastern over at Late Night Grim. We're going to be doing our official WrestleMania preview show where I'm sure we're going to talk about things that no one possibly care about, like where on night 2 is this match going to go? Because, of course, that's the kind of conversations that will crop up. Late Night Grin on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, everywhere at this point. LateNightGrin.com too. God, who can keep up with such a thing? So, that is coming up tomorrow night. Chuck, do you have anything to plug or promote?
I don't this week. I'm not making any towns. I'm off this weekend. I've got 17,000 things that I'm doing. Feature dropping at some point if I send it tonight, which I probably should. But yeah.
Fair. All right, folks. Stay tuned on that front. And if you're a bettor when it comes to professional wrestling, you like to gamble some. I got a feeling that old Charlie of Great Britain may be taking that Revolution Rumble on Sunday. I've just got a feeling. I don't know if you heard I hear she's entering AO, right? I think she's got a shot. We'll see.
Going into business for herself. She was supposed to put over a young talent. She said it doesn't work for me, sister. She's going over.
Yeah, I got podcasts to promote, right? I got brand to protect, right? Come on. Yeah, them super chats ain't going to send themselves. But anyway, AO, feel free to promote anything that you have to plug and then take us home, mate. Go for it.
We might have a WrestlePurists podcast this Sunday. I don't know. I think I'm available. So look out for that. You know, tap in our socials. You'll know if we have one. Yeah, that's really it. That's really it.
Tremendous. All right, there it is, folks. We'll see you next week. We hope you enjoy the show. Please do the thumbs up, the subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, have a good one.